Good afternoon, everyone. It's just incredible, the energy in this place. Jennifer, you mentioned a few years ago. I've met a few people that we met 6 years ago that were just starting out in modular. And I said to, it was Trevor Gilbert, who was in the audience, just be patient. Things are about to explode. So thanks to Jennifer Kiesemat and her amazing team for putting this event together, bringing multiple stakeholders around the table to talk about the high-level picture, the how do we scale. So this is it's an honor. I would also like to say that we're at a pivotal point in the Canada's construction industry. This is our time, and I would say from the morning reflections, we see the conversion of a few things: a housing crisis, tech innovation, unprecedented government investment and alignment that just will set the stage and opportunity for modular construction. And Jennifer, thanks again for just setting the stage for innovation. I think this is a national imperative, and this community is very important to come together to do that. The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure, Gregor Robertson, gave us a crying call for turn public land to public good. I think that's going to be a phrase that captures the fundamental shift of what's happening now. And as the industry comes together and collaborates on these public lands that are available, I think it's going to be monumental to showcase how we can build differently, and we'll get into that in a second. I love the from pilot to policy panel discussion, especially discussing the procurement process, the planning, zoning, and I think I would add, if you could do that in a very tech-savvy with AI, it'll certainly accelerate the process. I also like the shout-outs as well. We're already seeing that in action. And Danny Greenberg, that was awesome. I love the showcasing proof that we do have Canadian large-scale modular CLT in Canada. We need more Canadian examples that we can showcase. So I certainly applaud this morning's sessions. The themes are very clear: urgency, partnership, public land as a catalyst, and workforce transformation. So at PwC, we have tons of research globally, and we've categorized what's happening in this space as very extraordinary in terms of the global economy. Megatrends like AI, climate change, demographics are colliding to create what we're estimating $7 trillion this year alone globally will change in terms of value creation opportunities. This is globally. From a Canadian cut perspective, we're thinking it's around 3.6 trillion over 10 years. And that's a reconfiguration of many things driven by AI as a disruptor, certainly climate change, and how we're redefining models. And the way we're doing this, I'm not actually changing any of my slides. That's not good. So these were the morning reflections. Here I am looking at my tech-enabled iPad thinking it would change right away because I have an AI agent that's moving it, but that didn't work. So the mega trends that are colliding are creating these massive opportunities in what we're calling as new domains. And I think I heard one panelist say how we build, and certainly that's going to be the topic this afternoon. But there's these new domains that are creating great growth opportunities in basic human needs: how we make, how we build, how we feed, how we care, move, fuel, and how we power. And driving all that would be how we fund, govern, and compute. So I want to focus on the build element because that's why we're here today. That encompasses construction and operating buildings, including infrastructure. Traditional real estate construction will move rapidly towards smart, sustainable buildings, building tech data solutions, and smart city infrastructure. In order to capture this, Canada needs to embrace the AI component in all of our processes. And I saw Promise Robotics here today. He's definitely Ratman is definitely an example of adopting AI in robotic processing. So this morning's session about the opportunity being clear that we need to collaborate across the industry to definitely fit within how we build, but with a tech-enabled mindset. And certainly, these are not new facts to this community here. Housing crisis is staggering, in multiple proportions by 2035. We keep moving the targets, but Canada needs roughly 3.5 million additional homes just to restore affordability. And the federal government has set ambitious targets, 500,000 new homes every year for the next decade. Well, we're not even close, right? And traditional methods alone will not get us there. So I think, whether we're facing acute labor shortages, to winter weather stalling buildings for months, to costs rising, timelines keep slipping, we are, I think, at a moment in time for the modular industry. So, how can we reconfigure? Well, we talk about collaboration. The value in motion framework is a deliberate partnership and integration of multiple value chains. Modular manufacturers should team up with tech providers for smart building systems, with material supplies for low carbon inputs. Financial institutions should innovate and be prepared for scale-ready project financing. It was pretty clear this morning in terms of the RFQs that we need strong balance sheets to support some of these projects. Well, the industry coming together and providing innovative solutions on the finance side is going to be very, very important. Forward-looking players that will embed AI across design optimization, project planning, supply chain management are all going to be critical in this value chain. And again, I'm going to single out Danny Greenberg's showcase, concrete example of how integrating across domains will create value. So, Canada's modular construction industry is gaining momentum. Recent stats show in 2024 it was valued at approximately 5.1 billion Canadian, representing about 7.5% of the overall construction market. And it's projected to hit 6.4 billion by 2029. So that's about 5% growth, which is great, right? But despite this progress, modular construction still accounts for less than 5% of the Canadian housing starts. This contrasts sharply with other countries. And we'll probably hear from a lot of people cite Sweden and Japan. Sweden alone, factory-built homes represent roughly 45% of housing. So periods of domain reconfiguration, right, factors in this shift to get us to modular at scale. We need to shift from projects to platforms. We need to shift from analog to digital. We need to shift from on-site to modular. We need to reinvent our workforce. And we're already seeing that there is evidence of savings. We've heard a lot about faster. We're reducing emissions. We're talking about improving quality and making the, I would say that the stigmatism on modular, changing that from an investor and user perspective. I like that. The cost advantage is reinforcing because of standardized manufacturing. They're repeatable processes that'll help reduce material costs and waste over a period of time. So I think there's already evidence that there's ROI in cost savings, techniques, and carbon. So the task now is to scale. Align procurement. I love the conversation about procurement and approvals. And done right, modular construction can be Canada's response to the housing demand. Shout out for Canada Lands and the great presentation this morning. Build Canada Homes is a game changer, period. I think, you know, the $13 billion in capitalization and more than $25 billion in available financing is a clear demand indicator. It's a mandate that also prioritizes modular, prefab, mass timber under a Buy Canadian approach. The initial plan to build 4,000 homes across 6 sites is only the beginning, and I love the demand signal that allows people to be cognizant of your capital deployment strategies. And there's proof. It's already happening. I love the discussion on Downsview this morning because, again, this is turning theory into action. At Arbo, we're talking about 540 homes will be delivered using modular and mass timber, and 40% attainable for middle-income household. The market signal is clear, real, underway, and investable. So it's time for the industry to get confidence to write some checks, Jen. So why is the time now for Canada? Oh, I'm not changing my slides, I apologize. Again, so the time is now for, or the game changer for Canada Builds, and certainly a showcase on Downsview. So why is now the time for modular in Canada? Well, a few reasons. Number one, we have government alignment, and I know that this has been a criticism over the years that government's not aligning. It is clearly aligning on helping at the federal, provincial, and municipal governments in pulling the same direction. The alignment isn't just abstract, it's articulated clearly in ministerial remarks, it's reflected in program design, it's translating into procurement and permitting. It is very real. Second, infrastructure is unlocking development. This is a key point. Public investments like Black Creek are early markers of the broader shift in unlocking value. Governments recognize that housing cannot be delivered without enabling infrastructure like water, sewer, transit, and roads. The Downsview announcement is proof of that. Industry is also maturing. I would say that Canada can compress the timelines by adopting proven strategies, like I said, from Sweden, and lessons learned in the UK. And fourth, we need to align globally on megatrends. Material and land constraints and factory-based production, this is not just a Canadian phenomenon. This is a global phenomenon, and we need to learn from global research that allows us to have broader configurations. So, with any presentation, there's always a call to action. So what does that mean for you? We have 400 plus individuals and stakeholders in this room. Those that are watching on the streaming, the role for us is to commit to modular in the next development cycle. From cross-domain partnerships, manufacturers, tech, materials, finance, all coming together, anchored around public land opportunities that enable infrastructure so we can scale quickly and credibly. So what did we learn this morning? Well, innovation as a national imperative. We're aligning policy, we're committing capital, and we're doing it faster and with lower costs and carbon. I am looking forward to this afternoon's panel on how we're going to make it happen, right? From who does what to deliver at scale, clearing some of the holdbacks, the bottlenecks, scaling nationally, and where do we go from here? So what can PwC do? Well, we can help with strategy and translate some of these megatrends into roadmaps. People will need advice and creativity on putting together some proposals that the government will look at in a different way. I'm encouraged that the past does not equal the future. We can certainly assist. Capital and financing models that align incentives, and certainly tech-enabled solutions we can help with BIM modeling, digital twins, and of course, AI. So here's my message. How we build is going to be different. Let's all commit to collaborate in new ways. Thank you again for being here, for engaging. Looking forward to this afternoon.